Imagine this: you are standing on a battlefield, not metaphorically, but an actual battlefield. Dust in the air, conches sounding, warriors assembled, death waiting. And in front of you stand the people you love: your teachers, your family, your own blood. And suddenly your body gives way, your hands tremble, your mouth goes dry, your thoughts scatter, your chest tightens, and you cannot move. This is how one of the greatest spiritual texts, the Bhagavad Gita, begins. Not with peace, not with enlightenment, but with collapse. Arjun, the great warrior, is overwhelmed. And what is fascinating is this: his suffering is not simply fear of death, it is the desperate need for certainty. He wants guarantees. If I fight, what happens? If I don't fight, what happens? Which choice is morally right? Which future leads to less pain? What if I make the wrong decision? Does that sound familiar? Most of us are not standing on battlefields, but inwardly, many of us find ourselves in similar situations every day. In relationships, in work, in health, in our own minds, constantly asking and analyzing, what if I choose wrong? What if I fail? What if I let someone down? What if this sensation means something bad? What if I don't heal? What if this relationship doesn't work? What if my body never changes? What if I lose control? As much as Arjun's battle is external, it is also internal. Often our enemies are not outside, but inside. We are fighting our own thoughts, sensations, emotions. And when your own mind becomes the battlefield, even simple action can feel impossible. Life presents us with dichotomies, where sometimes none of the choices are absolutely right. Pursuing careers might let our loved ones down. Picking peace might risk future growth. And so when we can't see a right path, we freeze, choosing inaction, retreating into our thoughts. And so we think and think and think, because thinking feels like action, control feels like safety. If I analyze enough, surely uncertainty will disappear. But here is the universal truth: control is not always possible, and it cannot remove uncertainty. It only gives temporary relief from feeling it, and that relief becomes addictive. As much as we seek control outside, we seek it inside. The external and internal worlds aren't much different. This is what many of us misunderstand about anxiety. It is not always the sensation itself that traps us. It is what we do next. A thought appears: what if something is wrong? The chest tightens, the stomach contracts, and immediately the mind begins its ritual. This shouldn't exist. Solve it, fix it, prepare, understand, control. Not because you are weak, but because the nervous system feels discomfort is dangerous. Over time, this becomes identity. You become the responsible one, the self-aware one, the fixer, the overthinker, the healer, the one who tries to prevent discomfort inside and outside. Even spirituality can become a part of this. I need to let go properly. I need to regulate my nervous system. I need to surrender correctly. Do you see the trap? Even surrender becomes another control strategy. But what if discomfort, darkness, and suffering are not the demons we think that they are? What if they are simply another phase of reality? We often fail to understand that life moves through opposites: day and night, birth and death, calm and chaos. But the anxious mind wants only one half of the circle. It wants light without darkness, safety without uncertainty, peace without disruption. And this is where suffering begins. Not because darkness exists, but because we believe life shouldn't contain it. The same is true within us. We try to avoid difficult emotions like fear and anxiety. We try to make life safe on the outside. But life often refuses to stay within the boundaries we create for it. What hurts us is often not just life itself, but the battle we begin against it. This is the issue Arjun faces. He wants safety, peace, certainty. Yet life has brought him to a battlefield he cannot simply think his way out of. And so he resists, demanding safety and peace. The reality is that our egos are trying to fight an enemy which is unconquerable. Universe, reality itself. The same universe which shaped stars, oceans, and eventually you. The same universe which provides air for each and every breath that keeps us alive. And yet somewhere within us, a small frightened part insists, life must unfold on my terms. And this is why Krishna's response to Arjun is extraordinary. Because Arjun is asking for certainty, and Krishna refuses to give it. Instead, he offers something radically different. Surrender. Not passivity, not collapse, but action without clinging. Krishna says you have the right to action, but not to the fruits of action. This sounds beautiful until you actually try to live it. Because what it really means is, you do not get guarantees. You do not get certainty first. You do not get control over outcomes. Yet you move. You do not get to avoid the chaos, but you find your own footing and peace amid all the destruction. This is where most of us resist, because we secretly believe that peace comes after certainty. Once I know the right answer, I will relax. Once this symptom goes away, I will breathe. Once this relationship feels secure, I will soften. Once life stabilizes, I'll let go. But life keeps proving otherwise, because certainty never truly arrives. Only temporary illusions of it do. The inherent nature of life is uncertain, and so the nervous system learns strange habits, holding the breath, tightening the jaw, keeping the body subtly braced, scanning thoughts endlessly, rehearsing conversations, checking sensations, living in imagined futures. This is not weakness. This is attempts of control which get embodied. It is the body trying to do psychologically what the mind cannot achieve. Guarantee safety. But safety cannot be manufactured through endless control. It only arrives when we let go of this control. The irony is this: the harder we grip, the less alive we become, because control narrows life. It reduces spontaneity, it reduces love, it reduces creativity, it reduces embodiment. You cannot dance while calculating every movement. You cannot love while defending against heartbreak. You cannot feel peace while negotiating constantly with uncertainty. For all of this, you need trust and faith. You need to let go. You need to feel the music while dancing. You need to fall in love and not be afraid of hurting yourself. You need to expose yourself to uncertainty. Treat peace and suffering alike. Learn to feel safe through it all. Maybe this is why Arjun's battlefield matters so much. Because the battlefield was never just historical. It is psychological, it is existential, and it goes on every day. It is your nervous system trying to negotiate with life and reality, demanding certainty before surrender. But perhaps maturity is not becoming fearless. Perhaps maturity is something quieter. It is to soften that analyzer and controller within us that demands certainty. It is the willingness to let ourselves feel whatever we feel without immediately trying to escape it. To let ourselves and reality breathe its breath without solving. To act without guarantees. To soften without knowing what happens next. To let the universe flow in whatever direction it does. To create space for the worst and the most fearful of our thoughts and let them be, without resisting, without immediately fighting back. And perhaps this is what surrender actually means. Not giving up, but giving up the illusion that control was ever going to save you. This is where resistance drops and life and action becomes lighter. So perhaps freedom was never found in controlling life's movements, but in becoming less disturbed by them. Krishna says, the one whom pleasure and pain do not disturb becomes fit for freedom.